Our experiment is over the conditional discrimination of the zebrafish by Lindsay, Kevin, Katrina, and Megan. The subject of this experiment was an adult zebrafish. The subject was kept in one 28 by 13 by 28 centimeter tank throughout the experiment. Located on a shelf amongst other zebrafish was where the zebrafish was kept for other than cleaning and experimental sessions. The subject's diet consisted of tetrafin fish food, and it was fed once every 24 hours. For our experiment, the subject was deprived of food for approximately 48 hours before the start of the experiment. A laboratory room was used as the setting for the fish, and this laboratory room consisted of many other tanks, and therefore there was an abundance of background white noise. Light exposure consisted only of the overhead lighting, which was turned off and on throughout the day. Individuals present during the experimental sessions were 2 authors of the current study at one time. Materials used for this experiment was a 12-inch yellow pipe cleaner in the form of a 7.6 centimeter hoop, an iPhone 6 speaker and flashlight, a handheld stopwatch, a pencil, and Tubiflex worms fish food. The design of this experiment was an ABCDCDC design. 2 separate behaviors were measured across each phase over the course of 2 weeks, with the treatment conditions lasting 3 minutes each. The dependent variables in this experiment were entering the hoop and crossing the line. Entering the hoop was defined as the fish's entire body going through the central opening of a hoop with more than 1 second in between responses. Crossing the line was defined as the fish's entire body going past the leftmost line by 5 centimeters with its entire body, not including going through the hoop. The independent variables were the music and light conditions along with the delivery of differential reinforcement on a fixed ratio 1 schedule. The inter-observer agreement was measured by 2 independent observers who measured the dependent variables during sessions. It was collected for 35% of the trials conducted, and an average IOA was 99% with a range of 98 to 100% across all sessions. Procedural integrity was collected by an independent observer who watched 20% of the sessions being conducted. They recorded the delivery of the reinforcer, which was the food pellets. Correct delivery of reinforcers occurred at 96% across all trials and sessions. The procedure was as follows. Baseline for the jaw rule condition. Sessions were conducted for a fixed interval of 3 minutes. We began this session with the experimenter placing its fish tank onto a shelf, inserting the hoop into the tank, and waiting approximately 3 minutes before beginning a session. A continuous playlist of rap music was played during the first phase of baseline. No consequences were applied. The baseline for the light condition consisted of shining a flashlight straight down the right side of the tank. The light illuminated the right half of the tank. No consequences were delivered to the fish. The jaw rule music intervention condition is as followed. Rap music was played with speakers facing directly into the tank continuously. Experimenters used positional prompts of the hoop in the first 3 sessions. Addable reinforcement was immediately delivered after the fish swam through the hoop. Responses in which a positional prompt was needed were not added to the total number of responses reported. After the 3rd training session, differential reinforcement was delivered for entering the hoop during the context of the rap music playing with no additional positional prompts. Reinforcement in the form of a food pellet was delivered within 1 second of the fish entering the hoop on an FR1 schedule. The light intervention condition consisted of the experimenter shining a flashlight straight down the right side of the tank as in the second baseline. An experimenter recorded the number of times the fish crossed into the leftmost 5 centimeters of the tank during each 3-minute session. Experimenters used response blocking during the first 3 sessions when the fish attempted to enter the hoop and when it attempted to swim under the light. The response was blocked with a standard pencil that was used to guide the fish's body away from the hoop or the right side of the tank. Reinforcement was provided to the fish on an FR1 schedule for its entire body crossing to the leftmost 5 centimeter side of the tank. Reinforcement was again delivered in the form of a food pellet. The results of the study were as followed. A low rate of responding was observed in each of the contextual conditions with 1 occurrence of each behavior in the light context. Comparative to baseline, there was an immediate increase in responding during the first 2 treatment conditions. In the music treatment conditions, the effects of reinforcement was moderate in comparison to the light condition. Across all 3 music condition phases, hoop entering behavior was moderate with an increasing trend. In comparison to the light treatment phase, the treatment condition, there was a gradually increasing trend in the hoop entering behavior secondary to reinforcement on the FR1 schedule. During the auditory context, the mean number of responses for both the line crossing and hoop behavior was less than 0.16 for each target behavior. Mean responding of the target behavior during the initial music treatment phase was 2.23 with a range of 0 to 5. During the second training phase, there was a minor increase in baseline for the light context. There were no occurrences of the target behavior.